Hi, my name's Monique, and if you choose to work with me, I would be your hypnotist. So, I wanted to introduce myself and explain a little bit about who I am and why I do quit smoking hypnosis. If you can't tell by my voice already, I am an ex-smoker, and I smoked for many, many, many years. I started smoking when I was about 16 or 17. It's been so long I can't remember the exact age. And it was out of sheer boredom. And it was back when cigarettes could be bought in vending machines for under $2. And my best friend and I were on a trip back east, and we started smoking on the same day from the same pack of cool menthol cigarettes. And I smoked for a few years after that. I had a kid. I quit smoking for the 9 months while I was pregnant, and then started smoking again. And then I was in the military, and I met this chaplain guy, walked up to me while I was smoking, and he's like, "You're too young to be smoking." And I said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you, I smoke." And he said, "Why don't you quit?" And I said, "Well, why? I don't want to quit. I'll quit when I'm 50. How about that?" And he said, "Well, I'll tell you how I quit." And I said, "How'd you quit?" And he said, "I went and saw a hypnotist at this quit smoking seminar, and he hypnotized us, and I never smoked another cigarette after that." And I went, "Wow, that's great, because now I know there's an easy button. If I can't smoke when I'm 50 because I'm addicted or something, then I will call a hypnotist. That'll be my easy button." And I always had that in the back of my mind. Fast forward a few more years, a couple kids later, and I decide, yeah, it's probably time to quit. I think I'm around 50 at this time, coincidentally. And I was putting on a little bit of my middle age weight, and cigarettes weren't suppressing appetite. They weren't helping with that, and they were costing a lot. So, I mean, I guess part of my belief when I was smoking them was that they do suppress your appetite, and so I was always very thin. I always had a high metabolism, but I always felt like I looked pretty fit, and I feel like cigarettes probably had something to do with that. Despite all of the things that I already know that are terrible about cigarettes and how bad they are for your health, I don't even like the way it's smoked. Like, if I smoked a cigarette, I would have to go change clothes, wash my face, wash my hands, wash my hair if I couldn't get the stink out of my hair. And that's where I was at this point. I was ready to quit. And so I know that I'd done it 3 times before. I had 3 kids, quit smoking each time, and went right back to it. But you have to understand, I never had a problem with myself smoking, so I never really tried before. It was just, I knew I needed to for the kids, and I did, and that was it, and then I went back to it. So now I'm trying to quit at this time, and I would quit for a couple days, and then I would just accidentally buy cigarettes. When I say that, it sounds ridiculous, but it would literally be, I'm at the gas station, I'm paying for my gas, and I just would automatically, I wouldn't even think about it, I would automatically say, "Give me a pack of those," my brand of cigarettes. And that would be it. And they would get them down, and then I realize, I don't want these, and I'm not going to say that now. They're there in front of me, and the guy's already rung them up. So what am I going to be, one of those kind of people that, well, I don't want that after all. Can you take that off of there? No, I'm going to take them, and then I'm going to smoke them at the appropriate times because I bought them. So that's how my quitting smoking went. And so I realized at some point during that period, I need the easy button. I need a hypnotist. So I started looking, and there's no hypnotists in my area. They probably were online, but then also the cost was prohibitive for me. Not really, because if I just not bought 10 packs of cigarettes, then I could afford it. But at the same time, when I'm thinking this, I'm going, well, if I just didn't buy those 10 packs of cigarettes, I probably wouldn't have smoked them, and I would have already quit. So that's not the easy button. So I decided to investigate hypnosis and investigate how does it help, because if I could figure that out, then I could just use that, whatever it is that's making you quit, out of the hypnosis, without the hypnosis, and just make myself quit. But the more I learned, the more I realized I needed to know hypnosis, because there's so many things that it's going to help me do. This is what I'm thinking at the time. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a hypnosis course. And during the course, I was taught how to do self-hypnosis, which basically is the same thing as any kind of hypnosis turns into self-hypnosis after you're guided into it. You're maintaining the hypnotic state. You're collaborating with the hypnotist to get to the hypnotic state. You're imagining the things that they're asking you to imagine. You're doing the magic fingers. You're doing the locked arm, all of that good stuff. And that's what leads you into hypnosis, but you're participating in it. So after you do it, you know what it takes to get into a trance, and you can actually do it yourself. And I actually teach my clients how to do that very easily, and I'll give you a post-hypnotic suggestion that gives you a phrase that you can use to put you immediately into a hypnotic trance so that you can make change on your own, if that's what you desire. So, back to my story. I started taking this course. I learned the self-hypnosis, and there's two methods basically that people teach to do self-hypnosis. You can give yourself an intention as you go into your trance, and then your subconscious will work on that intention for you. Or you can ask your subconscious to choose your intention based on what it feels is the highest and best purposed thing that it can do for you during the hypnosis, right? So what I did was I chose, because there's a part of me still, even at this time, that didn't want to quit. It had a job, like the part of me that smokes, right? The part of me that wanted to smoke, the part of me that took care of all of that took care of remembering to get cigarettes. I could forget every other item on my grocery list, but I would never forget my cigarettes, ever. My brain just would not let me forget that is something that we have to do every day. We do it at this time. I would think ahead. I would plan. I would say I would need this many cigarettes. I would look at my thing. Oh, I don't have 5 cigarettes. I better stop, because otherwise I'm going to have to go out at lunch. I don't want to have to go out at lunch. And if I don't go out at lunch, I have to stop on the way home. I don't want to stop on the way home. So that I would plan. Other things in my life, complete chaos, but I would plan down to how many cigarettes I would need through the day to make sure that I had my cigarettes. If I left the house without them, I would turn around and go back to get them, or stop on the way to buy another pack. It was crazy. It was, well, you probably understand what I'm talking about. So I was, so I gave myself a very ambiguous directive. I told my subconscious to pick the thing, and this was a suggestion to give yourself, to pick something that it knew that I would want to give up, and that I would be happy to have gone, and that it would be healthier for me to have it gone, to be giving it up, and that it would save me money. All of the things that smoking is, without me having to say I want to quit smoking to myself. So I did that, and I went to sleep after the self-hypnosis, which lasted about 10 minutes, because you can set a timer basically for how long it lasts, and a timer inside your head. And I went to bed afterwards, and I got up in the morning, and I always know where my cigarettes are. I might not be able to find my keys in the morning or my shoes, but I can always find my cigarettes and my lighter. So I went into where I keep them. I grabbed my cigarettes and my lighter. I put them in my purse, and in my head I'm going, yep, I didn't think that was going to work, because I set it up so it wouldn't work. That's what I thought I did. And I got in the car, and I went to the gas station. I got my coffee, pumped my gas, and get in the car, take my first sip of coffee, and light up a cigarette. And lo and behold, something's different. Something was different. It tasted different. It had a different effect in my mouth. It gave me immediate dry cotton mouth. And it didn't taste like my brand of cigarettes. And I've tasted other cigarettes that may taste that way, so I'm like, did I buy the wrong brand of cigarettes? Maybe it was just a bad cigarette. No, it was pretty much every single cigarette in that pack was disgusting. And I forced myself to smoke it anyway, because I lit it up, and that's what my intention was to smoke the cigarette. It didn't dawn on me at the time that any of this had anything to do with the hypnosis. It was just weird that my cigarettes tasted different. So this went on for a couple days, with me forcing myself to smoke these terrible cigarettes, because my packs would last a couple days. I'm not going to buy another pack just because this pack tastes bad. I mean, come on, cigarettes don't taste great. It's not why I'm smoking them, so who cares if they taste bad? So I'm sitting at my desk after lunch one day, and I would buy myself these packs of Lifesaver gummy candies. I don't know if you've ever had them, but they're addictive. And I would eat an entire pack every day after lunch while I was doing stuff at my computer. And so this day I'm sitting there and I'm on my third Lifesaver, and I bite into it, and it tastes like a Sour Patch Kid. You know those Sour Patch Kid candies? It was like, my mouth is watering even just describing it right now, because it was like biting into a lemon. It was so sour, and I couldn't taste any cherry at all, and I couldn't taste any lemon. It was just a sour sensation in my mouth. I spit it out. I was like, there's something wrong with this piece of candy. Maybe it got mixed up with the Sour Patch candies. That's what my brain is trying to rationalize this. So I take another one out, same thing. Take another flavor out, same thing. I'm like, this is a bad batch of candy, even though I'd had 2 candies from it that were perfectly fine. So it dawns on me. I said, tell me my subconscious didn't pick sugar, because I had just been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, but my doctor reassured me and said, a lot of people are pre-diabetic for years and years, and it never leads to being diabetic, so you don't really have anything to worry about. You're just borderline. It's just barely over that threshold. And I said, God damn it. That's what my subconscious chose. And half of me was happy that it didn't choose smoking. The other half of me was happy because the hypnosis worked, and I was in shock. So I said, great. It still didn't click to me that the cigarette tasting different also could possibly have had something to do with the hypnosis. So I give up sugar. I have not had sugar in the amounts that I was eating it in since that day. That day, probably 3 weeks with no candy, no ice cream, no chocolate. These are things that I would come home and I would have before bedtime. I would have like an entire Hershey's share size chocolate candy bar. I had a real sweet tooth, which I had never had before. It was just something that happened. And this hypnosis reversed it completely. Now I have my normal, not so sweet tooth back, where I don't even like ice cream. It's not even a big treat for me. So that went on for about, like I said, it was like 3 weeks I didn't have any. And then I started eating the regular, like a treat here and there. If somebody had cookies at work that they had made and they were giving away, I could eat one again. But I really honestly could not eat sugar for like 3 weeks. And then it just balanced out. And right around that time is when I started realizing I really, really, really am not enjoying these cigarettes. Like, I really have been forcing myself to smoke these cigarettes. And so every time I would go to smoke one, it started in the next couple days after I started eating sugar again. Every couple days, I would sit where I normally would sit after work for my decompression time. And that's where I would also smoke. And I would usually probably smoke maybe 5 cigarettes before bedtime. Well, it started happening that I would say to myself, I would go to reach for a cigarette, I would pick it up, I would hold it in my hand while I was doing something else for about 15 minutes, and then I would look at it and go, oh, I thought I smoked this, and I would put it down because like the intent wasn't there to smoke it anymore, it was just in my hand, and I would put it down and just keep doing what I was doing. Now, this went on a couple days before I finally realized I quit smoking. Like, I'm not reaching for the cigarettes to smoke them. I'm just reaching them out of habit. Now it's just like a what do you call it? A muscle motor memory at this point. And so all I had to do after that was a little tweak to my self-hypnosis and said, okay, let's just forget we even had that habit now, because now it's not even a thing anymore. Now it's just like, that's a weird thing that I'm doing when I'm not a smoker. So that's how it happened for me. And through that process, I realized hypnosis is like magic to me, because it was effortless. It was effortless, completely effortless. And I don't think after that I bought another pack of cigarettes. Like, whatever pack I had left over, by the time I finished that pack, I was done smoking. And I think I might even have a cigarette left from that pack. I don't even know. Because I kept picking up the same cigarette and putting it down and picking it up and putting it down and then looking at it and going, okay, and then just going to bed without having ever smoked that cigarette that I kept picking up and putting it down out of habit as if I was going to smoke it. I might even have put it to my lips, but never lit it a couple times. It was amazing. And so I said, oh my gosh, I can do this for other people. If I can just set an intention in my brain and make it work. So that's what brought me to quit smoking since cessation sessions. I do all kinds of other things because hypnosis works on anything about yourself that you want to change, right? That is something that is just like you do and you're like, why do I do that? I want to stop. It can help you do things that you want to do better. Things that you like doing that you want to be even better at. It can help you be better. It amplifies whatever you have made very little progress with or no progress with. So if it's something that means you need to change your mind about something in order for it to just click, like you need to identify as a non-smoker. That's just basically what happened to me. I became a non-smoker without realizing it, and then the act of smoking became something that was alien to me, even though the habit lingered for a little while. The little snippet of hypnosis after that killed the habit. I don't even have that anymore. So that's it in a nutshell. I learned how to do that, and then I learned how to do it with other people. I'm certified. I'm a certified hypnotist, and twice, because I took the second certification basically to learn more about the quitting bad habits techniques. And yeah, so if you have any further questions about hypnosis, I would love to answer them for you. I would love to have a consultation with you if you're interested in having a session, or I'd love for you to go ahead and book a session if you're ready to quit and you don't want to go through a whole question about why you want to quit. I'll be happy to book a session for you. I'm going to ask a couple of those questions in the beginning of the session because I need those in order to understand how to guide you through your hypnotic state and the types of suggestions that you'll respond to and what would really motivate your subconscious to help you out. And then we could go from there. That's how it works. So you either have a 20-minute consult where we go over all of that, and then you have to wait and schedule another appointment. And then when you do the hypnosis, then I would send you away with a download that you can listen to, which is an audio that I made that's specifically crafted around being just a demo of general stuff. But the basis of it was started with smoking cessation, which is quitting smoking, because that's where my focus is. So if you listen to it, it will help loosen, it'll start to help loosen that coupling. It'll start to loosen those triggers that are firing off together. And I don't know if you ever heard that term, what fires together, wires together. So when your brain and your subconscious and your amygdala, whatever else is involved in this whole process in your brain, there's synapses that fire off, and there's paths that are made between these synapses. So if you drink coffee, and every time you drink coffee, you smoke a cigarette, these two synapses are firing off at the same time. Cigarette, coffee. Coffee, cigarette. Whichever hand I put them in first. Doesn't matter, because right now they're firing off together, which means they formed a wire between them. They formed a circuit in your brain. One fires, the other one fires at the same time. Before you even think about it, you don't even have to think about it. That's why there's this part of me or a part of you that automatically makes sure that you have everything you need to smoke, because that system has been set up and ingrained in your brain to function all the time to make sure that you have that cigarette ready when you need it, or when you think you need it. When you have programmed yourself to believe that you need it. I deprogram that. We decouple that wire. We just cut that wire and put a new path in between, so that when this triggers, this doesn't trigger anymore. Something else triggers, like you're gonna drink your coffee, okay, why don't you catch up on your emails? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be helpful? You just Get that out of the way in the morning for those 10 minutes that you would be smoking that cigarette, and then you don't have to go into your first morning meeting without knowing what's in your email because you took care of it instead of smoking a cigarette. Anyway, when you're ready, book an appointment